Sneaking into the palace and stealing something from the treasury would be badass. But I'm with my boy toy on this one. We can't risk offending the royals, not if we want to live here. Boy toy? Tim lifted an eyebrow. Shadow Lily winked. Just go with it. Get me some oil and a bow tie. Cassie groaned. Ugh, I hate doing things the monotonous way. Grab me 5 of these, kill 4 of those incoming. Cassie slumped into a chair, looking defeated about the quality of their upcoming quests. I hope when it comes to bartering for something as valuable as the Stone of Emeritus, the quests tasked to us will hopefully be a little more interesting than fetch this or kill that. Tim tapped a finger against his chin as he thought about their upcoming quest. I don't know about you guys, but outside of the game offering a loot piñata or two, questing has brought me all of the best shinies. Lorelei shrugged. Might not be a bad thing if we had to knock out some easy stuff for a minute. We've been grinding hard and deserve a chance to catch our breath. Shadow Lily picked up her dagger and slid it home in the sheath on her thigh. This is an epic quest. We'd better get used to the fact it's going to take a while. Let's take it slow until we find out the extent of what we're in for, then make an informed decision. It's like his voice, Jacoby pointed at Tim, came out of her mouth. Maybe it's a glitch in the Matrix, they said in unison. Leave the poor kid alone. Cassie slapped his butt to snap him out of his daze. He almost gave him a heart attack. Lorelei shook her head and threw up her hands as though she was dealing with a bunch of kids. Her antics only made Tim's smile grow. At least one of them stayed grounded. He could have let that joke go for another hour to see the fire mage sweat. Let's not forget how Eternia fits into our plans. If we brought her the stone this instant, she might not have recovered enough to use it. We need to make sure we bring it back right when she's ready to power up. Lorelei looked at the goddess for confirmation of her theory. Time is one of those things you never realize you need until you're out of it. Eternia sipped from her mug and pulled the blanket tighter around her shoulders. As I sit before you, my fight against my sister's influence continues, slowing my recovery. Khalid looked like his world had been shaken to its very foundations, and yet when Eternia turned her eyes toward him, the warrior found a way to pull himself together. What do you need from me, goddess? It is kind of you to ask, considering I failed you more than anyone else. Eternia's expression softened into one of regret, and a single tear trailed down her cheek. I never thought Vitaria was capable of such madness, or that a spell of such destruction was possible. Please forgive me. Nima moved to stand next to Khalid, and laid a comforting hand on his shoulder. Her eyes never left Eternia. There is nothing to forgive. We know who's to blame. Then it is time for you to return to Narha. The people there will be worried and looking for guidance. Eternia grimaced as if she was in pain. We will need a base of operations for when I return. Tim knew this situation was dire, but he grinned. He kind of felt like Jack Bauer, saving the world 1 hour at a time. This problem was fixable. All they had to do was play their part, and the pieces would fall into place. A quick trip to see the High Priest, and Nima and Khalid would be back in Narha before breakfast was over. We can use the portal at the temple. My magic powers the portals. Eternia looked exasperated with herself, so they won't be of much use. If the portals were out, they needed to find another way to get the 2 warriors back home. They would need to secure fast horses and someone who could get them an audience with Seraphina and passage under the mountain without the 5 of them tagging along. On the plus side, the 2 warriors wouldn't have to fight their way through the subterranean dungeon, making the trip much shorter. Tim thought back to their trip to Tristholm and figured it would take them a day or 2 to get there, and another to make it under the mountain and back to the desert. If he thought they could get their quest done and power Eternia up in less time, he would have told them to wait. But there was no guaranteeing how quickly they would finish the task the goddess laid out before them. Since they couldn't take the time to escort their friends from the desert themselves, it was his job to make sure they had the best guide for the journey possible. Thankfully, there was a person in the room who fit the bill. Tim glanced over at Ernie. Lucky for us, we happen to know someone who knows the back road into Tristholm like the back of his hand. He also happens to have enough pull to garner an audience with Seraphina. Shadow Lily smiled as she warmed up to the idea of sending the innkeeper.